Get ready to embrace debate. First Take starts now.
I'm Kerry Chow. Here's what's ahead on the First Take podcast. Is LeBron really ready to go home to Cleveland? And how much do the Lakers need Melo? Plus, we break down the NFC West with Arizona Cardinals defensive end Calais Campbell. The First Take podcast starts right now. Good morning and welcome into First Take. I'm Kerry Chow, in for Kerry Champion and in for Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, Freddie Coleman and Scoop Jackson. These guys, didn't they just come off break and they're gone again?
Yeah, I want that in my contract. Like, you know.
I'm not messing with anybody's business when it comes to vacation time and money. My name is Bennett. I'm not going to be there.
Oh, man, keeping it political right now. All right, we're going to get real in a second, though.
The only time today.
I know. Coming up, Kobe Bryant says he'd love to play with Carmelo Anthony in L.A. How would a Kobe-Melo partnership change the Southern California sports landscape? Plus, Johnny Manziel's new nickname should be Johnny Selfie. The Browns' rookie quarterback is spotted with a bevy of beauties at the Boston Red Sox game. The guys try to make sense of the Johnny Football offseason world tour. But first, let's start off with Decision 2.0. LeBron James met with Heat President Pat Riley in Las Vegas yesterday. LeBron hasn't made a decision yet, but many Vegas odds makers have. Cleveland's odds of winning the title have skyrocketed from 60-1 to 12-1, according to the LVH Superbook. And you know who also has some thoughts? Our own Stephen A. Smith. Here he is on Mike and Mike this morning.
The bottom line is that it appears that LeBron James has ended up going to Cleveland, which is shocking. Now, last summer, I reported that Cleveland was number 2 on the list with Miami number 1. But over the last several days, you start hearing stuff about old things going on in Miami. There were times when Dwayne Wade, with practice, and was ready to go, and then, the team would shut him down, and that would frustrate LeBron James, and that the situation just simply wasn't ideal, and it enticed him to want to and to consider to go home. It clearly appears that LeBron has had enough of South Beach and is planning on announcing that he's going back to Cleveland.
All right, guys, LeBron went to Miami to join the Big Three, win 7 titles. But if he leaves the Heat and goes back to Cleveland, how much respect do you have for LeBron? We'll start with you, Freddie.
Could you hear the disappointment in Stephen A. Smith's voice? At the mere mention that
now he got to spend time in Cleveland outside of Miami.
Exactly. Because if this happens, LeBron goes to Cleveland, Chris Bosh is going to Houston. The Miami Heat are going to look like a 15 to 20 win team because Dwayne Wade is a depreciating value, even though he's a Hall of Fame basketball player. I'm not going to lose respect for LeBron because it's not so much about the whole Dan Gilbert situation. Believe me, Dan Gilbert is not high on my list of anybody that I think is a good owner in professional sports. Does he love the city of Cleveland? No question about it. Is he a Cleveland fan that owns a team? I completely respect that. But plenty of things that he said, and still having that letter on the website, and then he has the nerve to say, we didn't know the letter was still up there 4 years after you put it up there. Come on, I was born at night, but not last night. Let's stop that foolishness. But if LeBron's going back, he's not going back for Dan Gilbert. He's going back because he feels a certain kinship with that city. He's from Akron. He has it on his website, just a kid from Akron. So going back there, whether it's a business decision, a family decision, whatever that is, if he feels that kind of hold from his hometown and from his family being in that hometown, that he wants to go back to Cleveland and try to get that championship, a city that has not won a pro sports championship since 1964, I'm not going to lose respect for him for doing that because it seems to me he wants to be the good guy again and not have that black hat villain thing that he put on himself and that everybody tried to say, well, the media made him that way. I'm not buying that. He didn't enjoy being the villain. He wants to be the good guy again. I think that's why I won't lose respect for him if he goes back to Cleveland.
See, I would lose, I'm on the other side of that, Freddie. I would lose all respect in the world for him if he does. It's strictly because of the Dan Gilbert situation. I understand he may not be doing this or we're not having a conversation because of Dan Gilbert, but at the end of the day, this is about Dan Gilbert because he's the one benefiting from that. Now, what I will gain respect for if he says, look, I will come back to Cleveland if Dan Gilbert sells the team, if he's no longer there. But why should he benefit Dan Gilbert in this way after the way Dan Gilbert treated him, publicly treated him, regardless of how long the letter was up there or not? This man really challenged LeBron's manhood and character. Why would you go back when you're the one in power? Dan Gilbert is not in power in this situation. LeBron James is. Why would you go back and give that man the gift of your services?
Because he wants to go and give the gift of his services to the city of Cleveland.
Then have Cleveland turn on Dan Gilbert.
That's fine.
Make the city make a decision.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Huh?
That's not going to happen.
Then why go back?
Because here's the deal. Dan Gilbert is hoping to appeal to the good guy side of LeBron James. There's no question in my mind that he has tried to do everything in his power to make amends. You know what Dan Gilbert is? He knows that he is LeBron James's first love, meaning the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you never forget your first. He's hoping that, yeah, I know you got the hot girlfriend in Miami, but I was your first, so come back because things can be better.
When your first dogs you, why do you go back when you can have the rest of the world?
Because there's always that chance that things could work out that second time.
I'm not buying that at all, Freddie. I'm not buying. Look. I'm not trying to cut you off, Freddie.
Go ahead.
Really. I give him too much credit. I think he has too much integrity and too much pride.
Meaning LeBron James.
Yes, LeBron James, to actually go back there. So, guys, that's why I would lose respect, because in certain situations you have to put yourself in the scenario. And we talked about this off air, and I asked B12 the same thing.
We'll explain that in a second.
We'll get into that.
Maybe we won't.
Yeah.
Put yourself in LeBron James's shoes. Would you go back to Cleveland?
Depending on the Dan Gilbert situation.
But that's what I'm saying. Right now, just right, Dan Gilbert's not going to sell the team in the next 2 days. He's still there. Would you go back to Cleveland?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Would you say no, you wouldn't go back?
I wouldn't go back to Cleveland.
Most people in this same scenario, if you got treated like this and you were the one that's in power, you don't need Cleveland if you're LeBron James. Cleveland needs you.
I agree.
But if that scenario is still there, most people are like, no, I wouldn't go back there, out of respect and pride that they have for themselves. I'm not going to reduce LeBron James's respect and pride that I think and I feel that he should have for himself to say that he's going to go back to Cleveland and then not lose respect for him.
Here's the deal with that, and your point is very valid with trying to have this marriage work again between Dan Gilbert and LeBron James. There's another marriage out there that's going to play a big part in this, and that is Mrs. LeBron James and LeBron James. She's pregnant with her third child. They have 2 kids already. The hometown pull may be so strong for her that she may look at him and say, you know, LeBron, it's been great for us in Miami for 4 years, but, you know, we get a chance to come back home. If we win a championship here in this city, it's not about Dan Gilbert. They're going to push that aside. Yeah, he's going to benefit because he's an NBA owner, Scoop, excuse me, and I clearly understand that. But at the same time, that pull of going back home, winning a championship, and having your family there, that may work in Dan Gilbert's favor because that's the good guy side of LeBron James that maybe deep in his heart wants to make things right and not have people in Cleveland completely disrespect him and hate him like what happened 4 years ago.
Here's what you do in that situation, then. Don't go back and play for the man. Buy the team when the time comes and win it that way.
He'll have enough money.
But that's what I'm saying. Especially looking at what Michael Jordan has been able to parlay with. Then go back and buy the team. Mm-hmm. Don't go back and play for that person who has treated you this way. Don't do that. And you know what? I lose respect for his wife. No disrespect to Brown. I'm not getting on your wife like that. But seriously, no.
Don't get on Savannah now.
No. I'm not getting on Savannah. But I think she has too much respect for her man to put her man in that situation and make him make that choice. Yeah. Have pride in what you do.
I hope that's
Understand who you are. Understand where the structure of this power lays. It lies in you all. Don't benefit anybody like that if they're going to treat you this bad or say that way about you. Don't get it wrong. Dan Gilbert still feels the same way about LeBron James. That has not changed.
I don't get that twisted at all.
So why,
this is trying to benefit him.
Exactly. Do not honor anybody like that. And I think the whole James family has too much respect to even think about going back down that road. Well, power move, go and buy the team years later, and then do what Dan Gilbert couldn't do with Cleveland Cavaliers, win a championship.
A buddy of mine hit me on Facebook. He said if LeBron goes to the Flint City Tropics and plays with Will Ferrell, we're not even worried about this conversation anymore. He can be a part of Semi-Pro Part 2, and you don't have to worry about Cleveland, don't have to worry about Miami.
That's an excellent point. That being said, if Dan Gilbert, can he do anything to change your mind?
Sell the team.
Anything to rectify the situation outside of selling the team?
Outside of selling? No, not at all.
No apologies, though?
No, not like that, no. Because there's no apologies going to match what he did.
Well, LeBron James should not apologize to Cleveland.
No.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about, but that was brought up saying to smooth things over, that LeBron should apologize to fans that burned your jersey.
Yeah, who said
Aaron Goldhammer when he was on my radio show 2 nights ago, and I said, Aaron, I love you. I think you're completely out of your tree on this one.
Right.
If anybody needs to apologize, it's those fans that burned his jersey. I don't care how many there were in Dan Gilbert, if it's going to smooth it over. Either way, I'm not going to lose respect for him because I clearly understand the good guy thing. They're hoping that's going to work in their favor.
Sometimes right has to trump
wrong. I hear you.
Yeah. We'll table this for a second and come back to LeBron. Carmelo Anthony, he's still waiting for LeBron to make his decision.
Who isn't?
Obviously, right? But just like LeBron, he stayed, Mom. However, Kobe Bryant is not staying, Mom. He'd love for Carmelo to take his talents from coast to coast. Take a listen.
It'll be fun. It'll be more than fun. You know, we've really clicked since 2008, and I would love to see him out here.
Kobe and Carmelo played together during the Olympics. What could Melo do for the Lakers, Scoop?
Well, first he could do for Kobe, makes Kobe's life a lot easier when he comes back. You know, especially now, if Kobe comes back, he's the only thing they have going on in the Lakers. So defenses that he'll see, it'll be old school box, and there's nothing there. There's no other offense there besides Kobe Bryant. So hell, if I'm Kobe Bryant, I love Carmelo coming here because it takes pressure off him, and it will make his life a lot easier. But as I said in the green room or back then, Melo going to L.A. would be like, Gary Coleman saving NBC back in the day.
Because the world don't move
right.
to the beat of just one drum.
Exactly. Carmelo Anthony going to L.A. would basically save that franchise and keep it relevant for not just the next 2 years while he and Kobe play together, but after that. Just seriously, Kobe, we all agree, Kobe probably has 2 solid, probable years left.
Not averaging 28, 29, right?
Being Kobe. After this contract is over, we think it's going to be gone. Imagine that team as is with no Kobe yet. You talk about falling into an abyss, especially the way the Clippers are playing, and now they've become the quote-unquote sexy team in L.A. From a business standpoint, Carmelo there keeps that falling off from happening. They don't drop it. They're still a relevant team because he's still a superstar in the NBA, and the Lakers don't take that hit. That's beautiful for them. And, he's still something I think you can build on. I think, with a great coach there, or we'll find out how that happens, whoever that coach may be. We don't know why it's taking so long
you
to
might
get
be
a coach.
the next coach
I may be
this
the next coach. Right. And, we understand that that's a new regime of buses running the team. It's not like the old man bus running the squad, so there have been some changes there. But if a centerpiece is Carmelo and you have something to work with, then that's fine, because that's what is going to save this franchise. I think it's more important than just basketball with Carmelo Anthony, getting somebody like him there. 2 years with Kobe, that's great. You establish yourself, you stay on par with the Clippers, that's fine. Once Kobe leaves or plays another year and Carmelo's really that dude, you're still right in the conversation. You still get games on Sunday on ABC, so we still get to see the white uniforms. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Thank God for that.
But trust me, Kobe's not there and they don't have a Carmelo and he retires 2 years from now, we won't be seeing those white uniforms on ABC too often.
Since I'm sitting in Skip's chair, I'm going to do what he does. I hear what you're saying. You made some valid points. The Lakers were the most profitable franchise in the NBA last year. They made over $100 million. They clearly distanced themselves from the second-best team without Kobe Bryant playing on this basketball team. So from a business standpoint, they're always going to matter. From the other standpoint, to your point, as much as I want Carmelo Anthony to stay with the New York Knicks, I'm a New York Knicks fan. I think if he signs that max contract, I think he will show that he will trust Phil Jackson. And you don't want to be that mercenary guy running all over the place. You forced your way to the New York Knicks. You got to stay and make it work.
Exactly.
But if he doesn't want to do that and he goes to the Lakers, I still wonder if that guy is a guy that you can build around and make him the centerpiece star. I still have doubts about that in New York. But this is what he wanted, so he's going to have to find a way to make it work, especially with Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher taking over as general manager, president, and coach respectively. But if you go to Los Angeles and it doesn't work, then you know what's going to happen. People are going to say, well, dude, you forced your way out of Denver. You went to New York. You didn't want to stick around to try to make it work in New York. So now you're going to go to L.A. and be the answer after Kobe. If you're going to be considered a superstar, superstars don't just jump around from team to team to team to team to team. They'll find a way to make it the best possible position. And believe, with Carmelo Anthony, hasn't it been like speed dating? All right, Dallas, your 2 minutes are up. All right, Houston, your 2 minutes are up. All right, Chicago, your 2 minutes are up. And now the Lakers. If you're Carmelo Anthony, that may work in Los Angeles, being the guy after Kobe Bryant. But why would you not want to stay in New York and make that your basketball team? Because if you win a championship in New York, because believe me, the last time they won a championship, I think gas was free in this country back in 1973.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, if you're going to go to Los Angeles, you better make 100% sure it's going to work whether Kobe Bryant is there or not. Because if you don't, Kobe's not going to have the finger pointed at him, Carmelo. It's going to be you.
I agree with you 200%. That's over. I agree with you 200%. I agree with you, but in the context of what we're talking about, him going to the Lakers, how would it benefit the Lakers?
I don't think it would benefit the Lakers at all, because I still wonder if Carmelo Anthony is that guy that other guys want to come play with, even with the Los Angeles Lakers. To your point with the Clippers, plenty of guys still want to line up and play with Chris Paul, with Blake Griffin, be coached by Doc Rivers. The Lakers are still in turmoil because, A, they still don't have a coach. B, we don't know what Jim Buss is going to do. C, we don't know what this team is going to look like if Mitch Kupchak will be allowed to put the team together and have Jim Buss sign off on it. I still want to free agents look at Carmelo Anthony and say, he's playing in Los Angeles. That's where I want to go. I still wonder if guys want to do that, even though he's a prolific scorer. They don't mind having him come to their team. Like Chicago said, yeah, that's the piece we're missing. Carmelo Anthony, no question about it. No one has basically said, if Carmelo Anthony's the main guy, I can go there. I still want the players want to do that.
I think it depends on who's coaching there to make that decision. I think players can, if he stays there, if
then that has to be a caveat.
Right, exactly. That's what I think needs to be done, because whoever is coaching that team, especially with Kobe there and Carmelo there, that's what's going to get those players to come and say, you know what, I can go on there and I can make it happen. But I hear you, Freddie. I hear you, but I still think that for the Lakers, it's a big deal to have. They need somebody. They need somebody. That's what I'm getting at.
Losing Jody Meeks can only take you so far.
That's right.
Swaggy P, not a star? Come on. Nick Young hates
his girl Iggy Azalea is more of a star than Swaggy P.
But she's big because she's, I don't know the name of that song I was going to quote it.
Don't try it.
Anyway.
Nice try, though.
If Carmelo does join Kobe in LA, what are the expectations for that team?
Oh, my goodness. They're going to be astronomical, because you're not bringing Carmelo Anthony there to just be a 500 basketball team. If you're bringing Carmelo Anthony to your basketball team, whether Kobe Bryant is there or not, the expectation is going to be there that this is the next bridge to a championship in L.A. It shouldn't be that way. But
I don't think so. I think it's just sexy. I think it's sexy. I don't think that we think that they can compete for a championship yet. There's too many strong teams in the West. And one, we don't know who's going to be coaching that squad. And two, we found out it needs more than two in order to make it. So if they just have Carmelo and Kobe, we all know against Russell and Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka, that's not going to be enough. We know against Tim and Kawhi Leonard and Tony, that's not going to be enough.
The Bruce Brothers with Gasol and also Debo.
And the Clippers with all their, we know that's not, and Houston.
Oh, yeah.
We can start throwing out teams from the West. Right, Chris, we can start throwing out teams from the West and understand just Kobe and Melo are not going to be enough. But it does make them sexy. It does get them into the playoffs, and they do get relevant, and they can build from there. So it depends on who that third party is and who's coaching. If they could bring another player in, like you give me a Kobe Bryant, a Carmelo Anthony.
And a Kevin Love?
Not even a Kevin Love. It had to be that strong. I'll take like a Chandler Parsons or some other player of that ilk, or a Luol Deng. Bring them in there and give me a hella coach, and now we're talking. But right now, just these two with no coach in place, it's just sexy.
Speaking of sexy, you put the quotes around the Clippers earlier as the LA's the sexy team. You can remove those quotes. The Clippers are the sexy team in Los Angeles, huh? Anyhow.
They are. Despite Donald Sterling and his actions.
Exactly. They're fancy like Iggy Azalea. First Take is heading back to the ESPYs. The show will be live from Los Angeles next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as we get you ready for the big show. Special guests include Super Bowl champions Golden Tate and Bobby Wagner, comedians Guy Torry and JB Smoove, as well as many others. So tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern starting next Monday on ESPN2. And there's a 2014 ESPY auction, which includes an opportunity to meet the team, Skip, Stephen A., and Kerry Champion. It's a 2015 NBA All-Star Game package. It includes watching First Take on Friday, then tickets to All-Star events on Saturday night and the All-Star Game on Sunday. Go to ESPN.com now to bid. Auction closes a week from today at 2 p.m. All proceeds go to the V Foundation for Cancer Research.
No chance of meeting you?
No chance of meeting you.
Sorry, what a Jim.
I'm out.
All right.
Do it enough.
Johnny, no, I don't do it enough. Johnny Manziel's offseason has been an Us Weekly dream. Hanging with Drake, Bieber, Tyrese just a few days after being seen in Vegas. He was seen here at last night's Red Sox game with several ladies.
Manzielettes.
Now, Charles Barkley is weighing in. He told Cleveland radio station 92.3 FM, listen, he's got to watch himself, man, because everybody's out to get you now. But you should never take selfies of anything doing anything that can be considered stupid. And that's probably the only problem I have with Johnny Manziel. Most of his pictures are selfies, and that tells me he's just too immature to handle this fame thing right now. Scoop, we'll start with you. What kind of advice would you give Johnny Manziel?
And just keep doing you. Just keep doing that. We act like it's a persona. We act like sometimes it's an act. But this is who Johnny Manziel is. And in order to find a comfort zone when you're making the step that he's making, when you're coming from being a highly touted, quote unquote, amateur superstar and coming to that next level, where you're coming into the NFL and just automatically you're going to have players try to tee off on you because of what you've attained, and they don't think you have earned. You have to stay confident in who you are. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's a line that you could cross with confidence, but Johnny's very confident in what he can do and what his abilities are and who he is. That's why he hadn't backed down. That's why people think he doesn't have a shred of humbleness in him. Fine. Not doing anything illegal, not costing the Cleveland Browns any games. Keep doing your thing, man. You are 21, 22 years old. You're a bachelor. You have not done anything irresponsible. You're having fun, enjoying it. As long as it shows up on the football field and it shows up in practice, keep doing your thing. That's the only advice I can give them. Now, here's the deal. 5 years from now, if things aren't working out as well, and you need to start getting reflective and start to soul search and start, what can I do to do better? If some of the things you've done start to come back on you, you know, if some of the things you do you wind up regretting, they say, yeah, that was kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to do something stupid. Then, yes, start maybe looking and saying, maybe I do need to make some changes. But as for right now, man, keep doing you, because you know what? I'd be a hater if I sat up here and said I wouldn't do the same thing he was doing.
Thank you.
And that's the only, that would make me a hypocrite too. So nah, Johnny, keep doing you.
It's like his fame didn't change Johnny. Johnny Manziel's fame changed other people, because now they have a different way of looking at him. He has been the same person. He's just doing it more on the national stage. Believe me, you can't even go to a Red Sox game now and hang out with the Manzielettes without people losing their mind. It seems like no matter what he does, somebody's going to find fault with it. I don't find fault with Charles Barkley's statement in terms of he has to watch out. I don't buy the whole immaturity thing, because I don't think Johnny Manziel's being immature. He's being himself as a 21-year-old man. People didn't like the fact that the NFL draft, he had a cup of beer in his hand. I said, well, you know what? I didn't think it was against the rule. And he wasn't going out to play football the next day or later on that night in the NFL draft. When it's the draft. He did the whole money sign and everything like that leading up to the stage where being drafted by the Cleveland Browns. We all know what we've gotten into with Johnny Manziel. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you do like it, that's fine. I'm not knocking his hustle at all. But his fame didn't change him.
No.
His fame changed a lot of other people who don't like the fact that he's not Tom Brady the way he acts. He's not Peyton Manning or Eli Manning the way he acts. They want their quarterbacks to be cookie cutter. Well, you know what? This world is not made by everybody being the same. If that was the case, then nothing would ever get done in terms of not having discussion, not having disagreements, whatever that is. Johnny Manziel is going to find a way to handle it, because he's not going to let what he's doing off the field get in the way with what he's doing on the field. His fame is somebody else's problem. It's not his problem.
Here's a good role model that puts right into perspective what Freddie was talking about. Floyd Mayweather Jr. If you take the illegal activities that have been brought against him and just his behavior, it's very Johnny Manziel-like. But here's the thing.
Can you just take that out like that?
Yeah, well, no, but what I'm saying is about the attitude and the bravado and the ego and the arrogance. Floyd Mayweather still has not lost.
Not in the race.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what Johnny Manziel, look, as long as I keep doing that, you're fine. That's what Floyd Mayweather, people hate him because what he's never done outside of like the situation with his wife, people hate his behavior. They hate his arrogance. They hate the way he flaunt. They despise the way he, but guess what? He does his business. And if I'm Johnny Manziel, and that's kind of where they're pigeonholing me, look, as long as I keep winning, I'm good.
Johnny Manziel is good for two businesses. The National Football League, because more people are going to pay attention to the Cleveland Browns, whether he becomes a starting quarterback or not, and he feels he's going to be the starter from day one over Brian Hoyer. Number two, just water cooler business, because believe me, he's gone beyond the National Football League, where whatever he does, people know who that is. Believe me, we don't know the names of the Manzielettes, but we know the lead singer, Johnny Manziel, that was there hanging out at Fenway. What is it going to take for people to just back off Johnny Manziel and let him do his thing? Because
if he does it, Joe Namath, all this shuts down.
I don't even think that's the case, because they're still going to try to, just like the Floyd Mayweather Jr. comparison, no matter what he does in the ring, if he does something wrong or does something right, people are going to find fault with it. Johnny Manziel, people always find fault with him because he does not fit the convention, and they don't like the fact that he may succeed despite not fitting into that conventional box.
I will say one thing. I know we got to go, but Johnny, a message to you. I'm speaking to you, but a message you do. I like the Manzielettes or whatever you want to Manzielettes. I like that. But you know what? The biggest mistake he can make is not taking advantage of his fame and not settling for something random. They're cute, but that's random.
So he said he always should trade up and not trade down.
That's the advice right there. Forget about for you.
You need to be on Kate Upton radar. That's what you need. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
If I'm Johnny Manziel, I ain't gonna settle for somebody in the stands at Fenway Park, dude. I'm going for Kate Upton. If you're gonna do it big.
So you won't be married after the show is over, right?
No, I'll be married. I'm talking about John. I ain't talking about me. I'm good. I'm good.
Of course, just Johnny. All right, to your point about success, the Browns have won 18 games since 2010, the fewest in the NFL. By contrast, Johnny Football won 20 games just in 2 college seasons.
They may have had 18 starting quarterbacks since 2010 in Cleveland.
The NBA free agent dominoes are expected to fall as soon as LeBron James makes his decision, but we can't wait that long, so we're going to play a little game. Where should they go?
Look at you. With your host, Harry
Pretty self-explanatory. We've got some high-tech technology, our whiteboards here
Yes, we do.
to start this off. Let's start off with LeBron James. Where should he go, Scoop?
I am going to write it down
Look at
on
you.
my whiteboard.
You should have written it down already, man. Where
I'm
you
sorry.
at?
Hey, man,
Come on.
Look at you.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Picasso.
There you go. There you go, right there.
Right there? That's where.
Why is that?
Well, I think, as Freddie and I talked about it earlier, a couple of weeks ago, I don't think you want the heat of, and no pun intended, but I don't think you want the heat of keep getting backlash on who you are as a person and as a player that's going to come with you leaving. You know, he already caught backlash for leaving Cleveland. You don't want to catch backlash now from, so he doesn't need any more hate in the game. Stay there, finish out the contract, do what you do, and then think about leaving. But this would be too soon. He don't want that heat.
Everything he said, I completely agree with you in terms of LeBron James should stay in Miami because I know there are no guarantees in life, but I would trust Pat Riley a lot more to put more pieces around me, whether it's Danny Granger, Josh McRoberts, or somebody else. Maybe he swings a Pau Gasol to have another inside guy to help you out in Dwayne Wade. He doesn't have to play a lot of games. Chris Bosh has already said he wants to stay in Miami, although $22 million per year will be hard to pass up from the Houston Rockets. I still think he should stay in Miami. That's where he should go. Cleveland is still too much of an uncertain, even though they drafted Andrew Wiggins and they have Kyrie Irving. They have a brand new coach. Too much uncertainty.
Yeah, Chris Bosh would certainly be making the biggest sacrifice there financially. We'll get to him in a moment. But now, up next, where should Carmelo Anthony go, Scoop?
Thank you, Mr. Linkletter.
Yeah.
Da-da-dun. Stay right where you are, son.
All right. Why is that? Why is he staying with the Knicks?
Once again, he wanted to go there. You know, he did everything he could to make sure the Denver situation allowed him to get out of there and come to New York. You know, he's there. He got his wishes. And quiet as kept. Phil Jackson is there now. And this team, without, like I said, Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, and Kurt Thomas, is a team that came in second in the East. So they still have a core there that can't work. Now, J.R. Smith is a whole other issue.
Ooh.
But I would give New York a chance if I'm here because this is where I wanted to go, and there is a chance that this thing could work, especially with Phil Jackson.
I'm with you. New York should be the place where Carmelo Anthony should go because if you win it there, you will be able to not have to worry about going anywhere else, and you will be the king of New York. You'll be able to do what Patrick Ewing never had a chance to do because he had the right kind of personnel, Bernard King. You get a chance to do that in New York. It'll make your name so much better if you're Carmelo Anthony. He should stay with the Knicks.
Look how small that font is, man.
Hey, I'm writing quick.
How small that writing is.
Easy there, Art Linkletter.
We already talked about
your job.
We already talked about Chris Bosh. Coming up next, Chris Bosh, Scoop. Should he stay or should he go? Where's he going?
Give Miami the peace sign.
Oh.
Go to Houston.
All right.
Go to Houston. I think that's a perfect fit for him. I think he would be a great compliment to Dwight Howard. I think he has a championship pedigree that they don't have on the squad before, even though I do love Chandler Parsons. But I think you need somebody there who's won a championship, between anybody on that squad. And somebody that's probably going to play some type of lockdown defense. James Harden's defense was suspect.
That's being kind.
Right. Patrick Beverly is a great defensive ball player. But they need somebody on the post to present some type of presence there. And I think he is a perfect fit to complement that for both Dwight Howard and James Harden. And I think it'll just work down there. I think he'll be more valued in Houston than he's ever been in Miami.
Ready?
$22 million, Chris, is $22 million. And there's no state income tax. Fine. There's no state income tax in Houston, Chris. $22 million is $22 million, Chris. Look, I know you love Miami playing with LeBron. $22 million in your home state is $22 million. This is a no-brainer, Chris Bosh. The dollar sign is in your name for a reason.
There you go.
Freddie didn't say a single thing about basketball right there.
It is all about the money.
It's all about the Benjamins, yo.
All right. Pau Gasol, where should he go?
Stay right where you are.
Stay at the Lake Show. All right,
yeah,
what's that?
Stay in the Lake Show. I mean, you have a relationship with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe wants you there. Your value is not going to go increase anywhere else you go. I don't see Paul Gasol being the difference maker in any team and taking them to the championship. I think he needs to just finish out his career there in L.A.
Powell, go elsewhere. Miami, Pat Riley wants you. They need another inside guy to help you. The Lakers have tried to trade you practically every year of your career ever since they got you from the Memphis Grizzlies. How long would you settle for this disrespect from Mitch Kupchak, the general manager, and the Lakers organization? If I'm Pau Gasol, you're trading one warm weather place for another one. Go from L.A., go to Miami, a better chance to win a championship, especially if LeBron James is going to stay.
That's a big if, though. Welcome back, and joining us now at the desk, Calais Campbell, Arizona Cardinals defensive end, coming off a career-high 9 sacks last season. Welcome to the desk. What brings you here?
Man, just enjoying life, man. Just come talk some football.
Enjoying life, talk some football. Let's do this.
I was afraid when he walked in. I said, he's in a suit like that. It looks like very imposing. I might need to escape on foot.
Right.
Put it that way.
Right.
Your team almost escaped and got into the playoffs last year. You finished behind Seattle and San Francisco. That's the best rival in the NFL. What does your team, Calais, need to do to be on top of those guys and finish the season in first place in the NFC West?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, first of all, last year, Seattle was happy we didn't get to the playoffs. They knew if we got in, man, we're a tough team to beat. And this year, I mean, I feel like we have all the pieces to the puzzle. You know, we brought in Antonio Cromartie. That's really helped the defense out a lot. And, man, if our offense gives us 21 points a game, man, we should be able to beat anybody.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to say we just had a conversation of who you felt was the best team in that division, but we aren't going to ask you that because we know what your answer is.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But here's what money, I mean, from a football standpoint, you heard the news that's, you know, kind of going on between Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree. It kind of came back up. Not necessarily how do you feel about it, but has it gone too far? In
sports, you know, I mean, you know, you're going to talk some trash. There's going to be a lot of, you know, bad blood loss. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a rivalry. You know,
right.
I mean,
internal personal rivalry.
Yeah, internal personal. I mean, you guys match against each other very well. They match up every game, you know, and I mean, it's a battle. And when you go out there and you're competing every day, I mean, naturally you start having like bad blood sometimes. But in the end, you have to remember it's just football. When you go off the field, everything else should be, you know, go back to normal. You should be able to be friends. It's a fraternity.
Well, who's the one guy that gets on your nerves?
Right. That's what I was about to ask.
I got personality, man. Nobody really bothers me too much.
Oh, come on now, Calais.
I got a strong rivalry with Joe Staley. I mean, that guy from San Francisco, he's a beast, though, but he does all that, like, tricky vet stuff, you know. I'll beat him, but he'll grab my waist and, like, kind of like, slingshot himself back to try to, you know, block me and stuff. I hate when he does that, but the referees never catch it.
Here's your chance. Say something.
Let's get
it started.
It's offensively,
come on, man.
for them. We got to work very harder to do anything, you know, but defense wins championships. Everybody remember that.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is true. All right, Patrick Peterson, going back to the Sherman-Crabtree thing, Sherman gets upset whenever people say Patrick Peterson better than Richard Sherman. What do you make? He's your teammate. What does Patrick say about all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, me personally, my opinion, I think Patrick Peterson is a better player. I mean, but Richard Sherman is a great player. I mean, he's one of the best the NFL's ever seen. But Pat P, he can do more, you know, and I think that's what makes him better. When you can follow the number one receiver and shut him down. I mean, of course he has bad days. Everybody does. I mean, everybody gets paid in this game. Nobody's an easy matchup. But, I mean, Pat P consistently does it at a high level. He makes my job easier.
What do you make of the fact that he also plays a little bit of offense? I mean, come on. What about you going two ways, huh?
Try to tell coach, put me at tight end on the goal line. At least, you know, fullback, let me, you know, I'll blow up somebody. I don't even need the ball. I just block people.
Calais, I don't want to see you play two ways. You got enough to do as it is. Patrick Peterson's got enough to do it as it is on defense. Leave the offense to Larry Fitzgerald and all those other guys and everything like that. But what is it like being in that division? Because I call the NFC West the blood sport division because all four defenses are really good. Your defense, the Rams, the 49ers, and Seahawks. What is it like playing 6 games like that with that kind of intensity in what I feel is the best division in the National Football League?
It's hard, you know. I mean, that's one of the reasons why, you can go 10 games and not go into the playoffs. I mean, that's ridiculous, but it happens because this division is so talented that, you know, you can't, you know, give away a division game at all. Every division game really matters. And so, I mean, it intensifies the rivalry, you know, and it makes it that much more sweet when we actually win the division this year. It's going to make it sweet because it is the best division, but if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Okay, now see, Freddie and I disagree with this, and I was about to, well, let me ask you anyway. I think the Central is the best. NFC Central.
NFC North?
Bears, NFC North with the Bears, the Lions, the Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
Oh, man, I think
Calais, school him.
Come on, tell
school him.
Don't sack him. No physical altercation.
But look, but
no, not one defense in the NFC North is better than the worst defense in the NFC West.
The Bears fell off last year.
Yeah, I mean, their defense was good back, you know, 5 years ago.
And Detroit, come on, man. They got beats down there.
They have a great D-line, but
they're secondary Slim Shady, to use an Eminem reference in Detroit now.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah, the best defenses, all 4 of our defenses in the NFC West are better than anybody in the NFC North.
Calais, let's switch sports over here. You used to play high school basketball. You used to be a hooper. Let's talk LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. What should these guys do?
In my personal opinion, I think it really, LeBron James going back to Cleveland, it solidifies his legacy. You know, if he can go there and win, I mean, that's something that, you know, is so much bigger than winning 6 championships in Miami. I mean, you could win 6 championships in Miami, but you're still going to be in, you know, kind of compared to Jordan in shadow. But you go to, you know, Cleveland in a city where, you know, they haven't won a championship since the 50s. I mean, you go there and win, I mean, it changes everything. You know, your legacy becomes a lot stronger.
It only changes it in Cleveland, though.
I mean,
nobody gives a damn outside of Cleveland.
Wow. Wow, really?
He just said if he wins rings in Miami, he could be in Jordan's shadow, but that's a nice shadow to be in, but in Cleveland.
I mean, don't get me wrong, you might go to Cleveland and not win any rings. You know, but in Miami, people want to come play in Miami. It's South Beach. I mean, that's why I came down there the first time.
We had the question, how much respect would you lose for LeBron James if he goes back to Cleveland? I said I wouldn't lose as much respect because he's going back to his hometown. Scoop said absolutely he would lose respect for him because he's going back to play for owner and Dan Gilbert, who said some venomous and vitriolic things when he left. All right, disrespectful, just all those things. Where do you stand on that?
We're forgiving people. You know, I mean, everybody. I mean, naturally, people do things, they say things that they don't really mean, or in the heat of the moment, they're mad. But we're forgiving people, you know, when things go on. I mean, this years later, I mean, LeBron can overlook it, them in, you know, but in the grand scheme of things, about winning championships, and he grew up in Cleveland. That's his hometown. I mean, you want to win a championship in your hometown, you can do something there that nobody's ever done before, really.
If a team owner said that to you, though, if a team owner, if you were in LeBron's situation, a team owner said something like that about you, would you go back?
You know, I don't really have a lot of pride like that. I mean, for me, it's all about it's a business sense, and I feel like I can overlook anything. You know, I mean, people say all kinds of crazy things to me in my life, but you look at it. I mean, I'm not gonna let that control my actual feelings towards the city or everything else. It's just one person. And don't get me wrong, you want to play well for your owner, but I mean, it's bigger than the owner. It's the city, it's your teammates, it's, just all your family that really grew up loving the team too.
Absolutely. All right, last question now. Carmelo Anthony, what does he do?
You know, I would love to see him go to L.A. and play with Kobe, but he should stay in New York. I mean, I think New York's just a great place for him. I think if, with Phil Jackson there, I mean, why would you want to go play for anybody else? Phil Jackson's the man.
I don't have to worry about my job now on ESPN Radio. Every Friday, he's coming for it already, man.
Right. Okay, that's cool. Do it. Yeah. And two, Calais Campbell, Arizona Cardinals defensive end. Thank you so much for joining us at the desk. Stephen A. said earlier he's confident LeBron's going back to the Cavs. Now all of Cleveland is singing Coming Home by Skylar Grey and Diddy. You guys remember that song, right? Come on.
Look at you.
But it's not a done deal yet, so under what circumstances will LeBron return to Miami, Freddie?
Boy, that's a really good question. I've had a chance to let this marinate for a second, and the main reason would be Pat Riley, that he has that complete trust in him that, things happen not in a good way for Miami in that series versus San Antonio. But the way the Spurs played, they would have beaten a lot of teams like that in the NBA Finals. I don't care what kind of squad you would have brought to the table. They had played at such a high efficient level. But I like the fact that LeBron kind of put Pat Riley on blast, and Pat Riley kind of put the organization on blast by saying, you know what, we should be competing for championships and play better than that. I think that's the one thing that would keep LeBron James from going to Cleveland and staying in Miami, because he has seen what Pat Riley has been able to do to provide a proper supporting cast, no matter how many games Dwayne Wade is going to play or how effective Chris Bosh will continue to be. That's the one guy in Pat Riley, the big baller shot caller, that will keep LeBron James in Miami.
Yeah, I think in agreement with what Freddie's saying, but I also think that contractually what circumstance has to be a max deal. But inside of that max deal, I have to have another emergency out clause, and they're starting at about 2 years into that. Also, there has to be some changes within the structure of how this team is being run on the court. Not from behind the scenes, but on the court. So, and it's all doable. Dwayne Wade, no disrespect, that's my guy, but he can't be our second option anymore. We have to, if I'm saying here, Chris Bosh staying here, he has to move up to option number 2, and maybe we go out and get a number 3 option, and then Dwayne fluctuates between 3 and 4, but we can't win the championship with him being off and on and not being healthy, so that would have to change. Point guard situation would have to change. Yes, we drafted Shabazz Napier, that's good. I don't know if we want to put a rookie in this position, but he's a good place to start with.
Absolutely.
But the point guard situation has to change. And I know you'd be giving me max money because I earned it, but I can't carry this team for 82 and then after that. I need some serious help. Not a lot, but some serious, consistent help. You know, so under those circumstances, I will go back to Miami. And Pat Riley told me, look, man, we're going to change. This is what we're going to do. We're going to lessen your workload. You know, we're going to do some things you can get out in 2 years. If all those things come into play, under those circumstances in which I'll go back.
The one deal with the Miami Heat, and we can't underscore this enough, Eric Spoelstra has to be a better head coach in those tight situations. You can't just put the ball in LeBron James's hands and think that's going to solve the problem.
Exactly.
We saw how great of a coach Greg Popovich will always be regarded, but when adjustments had to be made, he was on point. That's why he got that multi-year extension that nobody talked about yesterday. That may have been the best move of anything regarding LeBron-a-Palooza, where he's going to go or where he's not going to go. Eric Spoelstra, I think, is a really good coach, but he's never going to get the credit he deserves. And I don't think the NBA Finals really helped him, how he was thoroughly outcoached by Greg Popovich. Some of that is going to have to change to placate LeBron James or placate Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh, whoever is going to be on this basketball team.
You guys talk a lot about the faith in Pat Riley, the confidence in Pat Riley, but how has LeBron's decision to wait and delay his decision affected what Pat Riley can do for this team?
Nothing. I don't think Pat Riley's been through this so many times that he's used to it. I don't think he expected anything different. I think that's why Pat Riley came out and had a press conference right after the loss against the Spurs, that he knew what this was going to be about. So I don't think he's fooling himself and thinking that LeBron was going to come back immediately and all things are going to be good. Pat Riley understands the business side of this, and I think through he and LeBron James' conversation yesterday, he's still cool. He gets this. He gets this 100%.
Unlike Dan Gilbert trying to make amends and clearing salary cap space and taking down the letter off the website, all that stuff to try to show LeBron James that he's really sorry and let's let bygones be bygones, Pat Riley is not kowtowing to LeBron James because he can say, you got 2 rings, I got more rings than you. But I was able to do the Miami Heat as a president and as a coach and the Los Angeles Lakers as a basketball coach. Pat Riley's like, look, brother, we want you here.
Right.
We know we're going to be a better organization with you here instead of you not being here. But if you think Cleveland's the place for you, we shake hands and move on. I'm still going to be okay because I'm going to find a way.
Right. Give me a couple of years.
Right, because I won a championship with this organization before you got here with a basketball team that didn't have the kind of pieces that they had winning back-to-back championships. I mean, he won a championship with Dwayne Wade being your main guy, and aging Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton at the end of his career in Miami, and yet they were down 2-0 to Dallas, and they won that series. You think Pat Riley's going to go into LeBron James and get on his knees and put his hands together and plead? He said, you do your thing, but I'm still going to do my thing and make Miami successful.
All LeBron James did for Pat Riley is make Miami a destination spot. Pat Riley's like, just give me 2 years, I can do this all over again. You just made Miami real attractive to me. So when the Kevin Durant's are done, when the Kevin Loves are done, when everybody comes, when Kyrie Irving's finished, when Derek, you name them all. Whenever you just made this a destination spot. So. Miami is always going to be. LeBron James has made this destination spot that this is going to be in the conversation forever. Miami's one of those conversation pieces where players are going to want to go.
So if LeBron leaves, Bosh leaves, no turmoil in Miami.
No, it will be for a couple of years, but watch Pat Riley do some.
He'll figure it out.
He'll throw those 11 rings down. How many rings is it now? It was 11 when LeBron's. It's 13 now. He'll throw those 13 rings on the table and get somebody else to come back there and do this all over again.
Interesting. And no discussion about Dwayne Wade here, by the way.
Well, Dwayne's not going anywhere. He's cool.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that loyalty may wind up costing Pat Riley, LeBron James leaving. And it's admirable that those two have that admiration, that loyalty towards each other. But Pat Riley is not going to just disconnect himself from a guy that helped him win a championship and that made this organization.
It's just a reduction in role. That's all it is. Like, look, Dwayne, you know you can't do it anymore. We know you can't do it anymore. Here, just pull back a little bit and still make it happen.
I'm Kerry Chow. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Catch First Take at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN2.
The next big thing, the next new kid, the next overnight sensation, the next rookie. One to watch. The next Hall of Famer. The next Intimidator. The next 6-time. The next King. Next. Who's next? Let's find out. Names are made here. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at New Hampshire. Saturday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. The next big thing. The next new kid. The next overnight sensation. The next rookie. One to watch. The next Hall of Famer. The next Intimidator. The next 6-time. The next King. Next. Who's next? Let's find out. Names are made here. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at New Hampshire. Saturday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2.